In life, we have moments in time to make a difference for someone. When the Lord leads you to say things and do things you don't understand, you do it willingly and you submit, and you pray that what you've said makes sense to whoever has asked for it to be said. You openly don't always know why you have to say things many times over for someone to get it, but sometimes you have to repeat yourself to the point that people understand they are not you. They don't have the right to monkey in your life. They don't have the right to be in the hood on your abilities. And frankly, what that means is they don't have the right to look under the hood either. We have people in the illness community who think they have rights to harm people. They will lie in records to produce illness. They will medicate people who don't need to be medicated, and that will destroy the person's cellular health. It will monkey with the person's mind, it will make them unwell, and it will literally destroy a life. Then there are people that try to destroy a life, but because the person is so protected by the Lord, it doesn't exactly happen the way they want it to. It can take years for that demise to go on, but the truth is, in the end, they're still not Lord over anything but their own illness, their own mental inappropriateness, their own selfish behavior, and their own illicit idea that they have a right to do anything in someone else's life that is not their lover or their child. In life, a child grows up to adulthood, and once that child reaches adulthood, there is no more room for a parent. Is not true. That the parent's role shifts to be more of a liaison, a conversation partner, and someone to just check in with on time to time to let know what's going on. My father was really great about that. He would often call me at least once a week to see how I was doing, to make sure I had enough money to live, especially after I lost my spouse. He seemed to know what that was going to be like for me. He understood how much time we spent together and how often we literally were not apart. He also knew how vital she was to my business practice and how important my son was in my life. When I lost her to her own wishes of returning home to her own country to visit her family and to visit people, I knew that it was at the end. I also knew that the Lord had answered a prayer of mine that if she was not the one for the lifetime of my life, that maybe it was time for there to be an end. I don't want her to feel bad if she ever listens to this video and hears that. But the truth is we were growing apart and she was less and less loyal is possibly true. But in truth, I wasn't less loyal until I ran into true love. A love that literally glowed through me in a way that God talks about love is lit within our souls. The passion ignited in me was off charts. And openly, I have never glowed like that in my life for anyone in this world. And when that glow comes, you don't want it to end because you know that the Lord has put it there. No matter how hard you try to let go, you can't let go. And all you feel, no matter how upset you get, after you go through that process of being upset, is you get back to this circle of, my God, I love that woman. Why is this possible? Now, in life, we have these moments of time to ask those questions, to raise those questions with God. But if we don't have a way to do it, if we don't have a tool to help us, if we don't have a way to check, where is my love now? How can I find that love right now? What do I need to say right now? What do I need to do right now? How do I need to change right now? What do I need to grow to right now so that I am enough for that love to think I'm enough? And what do I need to prove to anyone other than the one I love, that I love them? There's always someone who wants to prove they're man enough to do things to people, but that's just a bully speaking. It's not a man of God talking, because a man of God raises people up. He opens doors for people. He lets them crash on their floor. He lets them use a toilet without a problem. He doesn't monkey with their internet. He doesn't slow the process of video uploading. He doesn't interfere with a man's right to get legal help and legal counsel, or even have the time when he still had money to pay for it. And openly, it's only the monsters of the land, the liars of the land, that do things like that. Every one of us has made a mistake in our professional life in terms of doing something that might not have been exactly right, but might have been just enough right to help us to know who the truth was and what the truth was and who was the truth teller in a situation. And once we know that the liar was the person we presumed was a liar, we feel relieved that our own internal clock is working correctly. Our own gut sense is really working. But when a person is so monkeyed with, is so pestered, is so harassed, is so determined something they're not, it creates a rage. It creates a vigilante thought. And the one thing that I count my blessings for is that my father, my loving father, who was a retired lieutenant colonel in the Air Force, literally taught me that war was not always the right way to keep peace. That sometimes the best way to keep peace in a household is through loving kindness. And openly, that is the best way to love a child back to proper health and proper mental stability, especially after a monster has been allowed to be in their lives. Monsters are sometimes actual parents who don't have enough maturity to be a parent. Monsters are sometimes pastors who think they have rights to monkey around in someone's love life. Monsters are sometimes the boyfriends we select because we're looking for a badass or somebody who's a killer businessman, and then we discover that they are a killer of souls. A lover of people, a lover of souls, is someone who makes time to recognize a human being's individual rights and never steps into those rights without permission. There's only one or two people in my entire life that I would allow to come close enough to me to hug me or to hold my hand. And literally, if their letters of their names don't begin with a J, K, or T, and possibly a D, it's not you. I might like other women in how they look. I might find some 20-year-olds attractive because I think, wow, she's beautiful enough to be a fashion model. Someone should scoop her up right now while she's still young and in her prime and give her the life of a luxury. But it doesn't mean that my loins are going to linger anywhere near that 23-year-old girl who I've said, hey, we could travel together. It doesn't mean we're going to sleep together. It means, no, we can travel in a van together safely. You'll be safe with me, I'll be safe with you, and we'll have a grand old time. I have proposed a show that would allow us to go places where the Lord leads us, to have adventures in a vehicle that would allow us to show God directing my steps to the adventures that would be interesting to a land who is needing so much to believe in God again. You see, believing in God doesn't mean lording over someone's life. Believing in God doesn't mean harming a life. Believing in God doesn't mean murdering a life. Believing in God doesn't mean destroying a soul. And believing in God does not mean allowing your children to become monsters in their brothers' lives or in their sisters' worlds. In life, we have moments of time to show who we are in the house of God, and only love can create peace in this land. Let the whole world sing is what we used to have in music in the 70s. Let there be peace on earth is a song I sang as a child. We have this great idea of a peace department, which is super. But there has to be someone intelligent at the helm who knows how to create structure, who knows how to create system, who knows how to create processes that deliver the results that will literally bring about peace. We got a lot of politicians who talk a good game and repeat what other politicians say. But it's another thing entirely when a politician who's vying for president gets off their ass, comes to a little man and says, I see you have a problem, and here's how I'm going to help you with this one part of your problem. You see, we love that stuff on television. We've got those home makeover shows that go in and find a family that really is deserving, and they go in and give this beautiful house. We have these other shows that put people together to find out who's right for who. And in the end, it ends up being a situation of chemistry, and a lot of times those situations don't work out because the show did nothing to test them in any areas of intellectual, emotional prowess. But a true conversational partner is longed for and is missed. And in my life, I've only had a couple gals that could hold a conversation with me so well that I literally never wanted the phone call to end. That's only happened maybe 3 times in my life, and 2 of the 3 I had major interests in. And I mean major interests in. But of all 3, only 1 makes things hard. And I say that with love, with regard, and with truth. There was some challenges sometimes, but we would always work them through. There's that brightness in that life force that I long to see. There's that hand I long to hold There's that heart I long to hug. There's that mouth I long to have that smooch from, and openly, even if it's just a one-time deal. I feel that my life deserves the very least that. But in life, we have moments of time to tell someone how much we miss their soul intertwined with ours, and that's the point of most of these audio casts. It's to say, I long to see you, my love. And whether or not I'm your love or not, my love is stable and true. My love goes the distance. My love knows your heart, mind, and soul because the Lord puts it in me. And my love taught me the greatest tool of knowing God I've ever had in my hands in my life. When a woman changes an entire world of a man, he is never the same man again. When people try to monkey with God's progress in a person's soul, they are such fools. You cannot underestimate the power of God. You cannot undermine God's plans, and you cannot outthink the Lord above. The Lord above is omniscient, omnipresent, and let's face it, he knows a hell about lot about where your life is going to go, more than you could ever know. And the one thing I've been proving over the last 5 years is that God knows every human being, every soul he's created, every animal on the planet, and where they're located, and he's got an incredible positioning system of his own angelic realm that allows him to interact with those who submit. In life, we have moments of time to talk about God in a way that God deserves, that he is God of all, that he loves all people, and that people need peace in their hearts to create peace in the land. In life, we have moments of time to be something for someone. You can either be a trophy wife and a second life, or you can be everything in a man's heart, mind, and soul, such that no other comes before you but the God in heaven most high. In life, we have moments of time to say, I love you. I will never stop saying to the woman I love that I love her. I literally probably will drive her crazy with it. I am that kind of a guy. I believe that people should know how we feel about them. And I love the people who've been kind to me. I love the girl that told me, honey. I love those people because of the moments of time we shared, no matter how short or how long. But the one I love the most is the one I long to hold, the one whose hand I would die for. And literally, I have already. And that's my story. In life, we have one moment of time to tell someone we love them if we're lucky. We have one moment of time to tell someone I want to marry you if we're lucky.